You don't have a needy personality, you have an activated nervous system. And if you fix the regulation, you stop the chase. If you don't build emotional intelligence, you'll keep turning partners into regulators and push away the very safety you want. One of my coaching clients once told me, "I hate who I become when I'm anxious." Then she listed her greatest hits, checking his active status every 4 minutes, scanning his following list, watching his stories from a friend's phone, creating a fake account to spy, investigating tiny social media cues like she was analyzing a crime scene. I laughed gently and said, "You know someone who's done that?" She said, "Yeah, me." And here's the part she didn't know. She was acting this way because her nervous system was activated, doing whatever it had to do to prevent abandonment. This is what anxious attachment does. It turns you into an investigator, a mind reader, a strategist, not because you're unstable, but because your body is bracing for loss. Before we get into the 5 fixes, here's the roadmap for today. What anxious attachment actually is, why your nervous system panics in relationships, a quick client case, the Instagram detective, the 5 emotional intelligence skills that transform anxious attachment: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills. Once you understand this framework, anxious attachment stops feeling like a flaw and starts becoming a skill set you can master. Let's just admit it. What is the cringiest thing you've done because you were anxious in a relationship? Check their active status every 4 minutes, scan their following list, use your friend's phone to watch their Instagram stories, or the Olympic level move, making a fake account to spy on them. I know someone who did that. Just kidding. It was you. Today, we're going to talk about why anxious attachment makes us act like FBI agents in relationships, how it forms, and 5 ways to stop it using emotional intelligence. Because anxious attachment is not a personality flaw, it's a nervous system response. What is anxious attachment? Anxious attachment isn't being dramatic, it's your body anticipating abandonment before it even happens. It sounds like, why hasn't he answered? Is he losing interest? What if he finds someone else? This didn't start in adulthood, it started in childhood. Anxious attachment forms when love is inconsistent, affection is unpredictable, parents are hot 1 minute, cold the next. You have to earn closeness or attention. So the nervous system learns love is unstable, I must hold on tight. You don't cling because you lack confidence, you cling because you were trained to expect loss. Let me give you a story. We'll call her Gina. Whenever her boyfriend took her too long to reply, her brain didn't say he's busy, it said he's losing interest. So she created a second Instagram account to spy, watched his stories, checked who he was following, checked what those girls posted, zoomed into photos like a crime scene analyst. Her nervous system believed, if I can see what he's doing, I can't be blindsided. That's anxious attachment at work. So how do we stop it? 5 ways to stop anxious attachment. 1, self-awareness. Name it before you do it. You can't change what you don't notice. Self-awareness is the first emotional intelligence skill, and it means I know what I'm feeling, I know what triggered it, I can tell the difference between a memory and a threat. Someone with high self-awareness says, I'm triggered, but I'm not actually being abandoned. Someone with low self-awareness says, you didn't answer, so you don't care. Let's use another case example. Someone used to send 12-paragraph texts during panic. How could you ignore me? You clearly don't want this. I gave you everything. Now she can pause and say, I'm having an anxious response. I need to calm my body before I communicate. Self-awareness makes fear feel smaller and you feel bigger than the trigger. 2, self-regulation. Calm your body before you act. Self-regulation is the ability to feel something without reacting to it. When anxious attachment is unregulated, you overtext, over-apologize, chase, demand, explode, beg, threaten breakups, or stalk socials to soothe yourself. That's survival mode. Self-regulation looks like breathing exercises, grounding, waiting before responding, journaling instead of reacting, calling a friend before calling your ex, soothing your nervous system instead of attacking someone. If you don't regulate yourself, you try to regulate your partner. That's how relationships get destroyed. 3, motivation. Stop choosing panic, choose long-term security. This is the emotional intelligence skill people forget about. Motivation means I act based on my values, not my triggers. Low motivation says, I'm scared, so I'll cling, settle, or overgive. High motivation, I'm scared, but I won't abandon myself to keep someone else. One coaching client stayed with men who breadcrumbed her because she didn't want to be alone. Once she focused on her long-term goal, a stable, secure relationship, she stopped chasing temporary comfort. The question becomes, does this behavior support the love I want long-term? 4, empathy. Understand others without losing yourself. People with anxious attachment feel other people's emotions intensely, sometimes too intensely. But empathy is not mind reading, assuming, fixing, taking responsibility for someone else's emotions, apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Empathy is, I understand your experience and I still get to have mine. You can say, I know you're overwhelmed, but disappearing triggers me. Can we communicate better? That's empathy with boundaries. Without boundaries, empathy becomes self-abandonment. 5, social skills. Communicate instead of catastrophize. Anxious attachment destroys relationships when communication becomes accusations, silent treatment, interrogation, passive aggressiveness, emotional explosions. High EQ communication sounds like, when I don't hear from you, I feel anxious. Can we check in later? I care about this relationship and want us to build consistency. Can we talk about how we handle distance or conflict? Healthy communication invites partnership. Fight or flight communication chases people away. If you recognize yourself in any of this, here's the good news. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are not clingy. You are a nervous system that learned love disappears. But now you know how to notice the trigger, how to calm the body, how to act with intention, how to empathize with boundaries, how to communicate like a partner, not a panicked child. Love doesn't have to feel like anxiety. It can feel calm, consistent, and secure. And emotional intelligence is how you build it. If you want a part 2 with exact phrases to use when you feel triggered, just comment and I'll film it.